For the past few years, AYN has been making some of the highest quality, most performative Android gaming handhelds, with the current Odin 2 generation being no exception. Each iteration in this generation shares the same SoC, and yet are unique in their own ways. What's going on today, Internet? Selfish here with Retrospect. Today we're going to take a look at AYN's newest Android gaming handheld, the Odin2 Portal. This handheld is uniquely elegant and yet more affordable than other offerings of this caliber. Let's take a look. I've been using the Odin2 Portal for a couple of months now. And yes, I know you'd think that I would have had content up already, but every time I want to go make a video, I get everything set up to start recording and I start playing a game and then I just never stop playing the game. I just get sucked right into this handheld. Next thing you know, it's hours later, I'm doing stuff with the kids or something and I don't have time to make a video anymore. So I'm hammering it down tonight. I'm going to try to get most of this video recorded. It is going to be a fairly short video because I don't want to waste your time and I'm going to do this in parts. So this first part is going to be a more broad overview of some of the things that the AYN Odin2 Portal can do, and then some follow-up with some more specific topics such as different emulators and things like that that only work on a few devices on the market and none that cost what this does. We're going to be able to play some pretty awesome stuff on here. But first we're going to kick off the I.O. I'm going to throw the specs up on the screen. I'm not going to read them to you. I think you can probably figure it out. I'll also put them down in the description down below, so if you have any questions you can go down in the description down below. The specs will be there as well. First I think we probably should get this glass out of the way before I cut myself. You know, I've actually never held onto this without the case on it. I literally have a TPS case and I put it on right when I got it out of the box. I never actually tried playing without it, and it's actually a lot more ergonomic and comfortable than I thought it was going to be. Maybe I didn't need the TPS cover. Whoops. Anyways, we will start at the top like we always do. We probably should turn off the power. Yeah, probably a good idea. We'll turn off the power. Okay, we'll start at the top like we always do. We do have our shoulders and trigger buttons. These are nice, very nice. And these are Hall triggers. We do have our power, volume up and down, and then ventilation holes for our active cooling. On the back here, we do have more ventilation holes for active cooling. This pattern may look familiar to you depending on what devices that you do have in your life or videos you watch. There is a whole nother line of devices that's not related to this that use that exact same pattern on the back there. And then we do have back buttons right here, which are really nice. This really is like softer and stuff than I thought it was going to be. I literally never played this without the TPS cover on it. Anyways, on the bottom down here, we do have our Type-C hole for charging, and it also has DisplayPort out, a 3.5 hole for listening to music, and this is actually a 3.55 hole, so you can do music and or mic out of that hole. And then we do have our TF or SD card slot. You could put up to a 2 terabyte card inside of this hole right here. There's nothing on either of the sides. They are blank, but we do have a nice front end. This is here is adored by a 3D curved glass front end here, which does hide up the 7-inch OLED panel, which is built into this single piece of glass. We do have a couple of Hall effect sticks here. You can get different stick covers from AYN. I actually have stick covers and a second set of buttons I didn't even realize I ordered, but I did. And so I have a set of Switch buttons as well as a set of Microsoft buttons. And then there's 2 different sizes of stick caps. And the other ones are just your traditional Switch style stick caps, nice and tiny and what have not. There are some times when those aren't that bad, but you know, that time's not right now. When I'm playing, I typically like to have these. And you do have LED rings around these joysticks as well. You do have your start and select buttons right here, or your start and menu button, depending on, you know, what kind of game you're playing or whatever else like that. We do have a home button down here, as well as a back button. This also can pull up menus in some of the emulators that you will be in. We do have our D-pad here. It's got a nice little click to it, not like clicky. It's got a good membrane in there though, and it feels nice. I do really like the D-pads AYN uses. It always takes me a little bit to adjust to them though. I don't feel like they're perfectly consistent, and this one's got a little bit more of a pivot to it. Let's see if I can show you. So as I push on one side, you see the other side lifting. There's a good pivot to it, which really does make playing some games a little bit easier, but you do kind of force yourself more to an outside edge if you're trying to do some of your tricks than you would on the inside. Now the inside is actually, you're able to do it as like a dish style if you want to, but for me it just seems almost more natural. I guess maybe a midway between. It's just not in the same spot as it is on some of the retro handhelds that I look at, but it works just fine. And then we do have our ABXY buttons. These face buttons do have good bounce back as well, and they've got a little click to them. A little bit of a thud too, but I don't know, I think they sound just fine. They're a little louder than I'd want them to be sometimes when I'm in bed next to my wife, but you know what, you deal with it. And there she is. There's that beautiful OLED display that we have on here. And now that we're done with that, we are actually going to go through a couple of different things I want to just quickly show. I think everybody knows that these can emulate up to PS2 and Dreamcast and all that stuff without any issues. So we're going to tap on some stuff that is new to emulation, and specifically this device works with some of it. So we've got RC PS3, or now it's called What's it called now? They just changed the name. RPCSX, which is PS3 emulation. We'll just take a look at where that's at today. We may wait to make the follow-up video for PS3 emulation until we get a little bit further along in development, but we just had the newest build with it changing its name and everything like that. We'll also look at some Wii U emulation, which works really well on here. Very surprising. And I want to show a couple of games just with the thought of a lot of hype around the Switch 2 right now, like getting the GameCube version of Wind Waker on the Switch 2 through NSO, where you can play the Wii U version on the Odin2 Portal, and the Wii U version is the HD version, so it actually has a better image than the one that you're going to be able to play on the Switch 2. And we can actually upscale the fidelity on here if we want to. It works out just fine. It's got plenty of power to do it. Another couple things we'll take a real quick look at today is you can play Steam games on here, and you can also load your own PC games on here. So again, I'm not going to touch the normal emulation stuff, and I think what we'll do is we will start with PS3 because that'll be the shortest. It probably needs the most amount of work yet into some Wii U. So let's take a look. I mentioned it before, I only ever use this with the TPU cover on. I literally pulled it out of the box and put this cover on it. We're going to throw it on here right now, and it's super simple. There it is. It's already in place. So really cool little cover. It got it directly from AYN, specifically obviously made for the device. They come with a couple different colors. I think it comes in this color, black and white. So depending on which color AYN Odin you can get a cover for it. Now we are loading up Ratchet & Clank in PS3, and we're going to take a look at where this is at today. And then once it gets a little further along, we will come back to this at a future date. I got the graphs turned on so you can kind of see the peaks and valleys here as I'm going here. Right now it dropped down to 20 FPS, but it'll pick back up. But you don't really feel it. It's crazy. I don't know, even when it's dropped down on a lower FPS, it feels fine. It's kind of weird because I'm used to playing on Vita. Like if you try to play Ratchet & Clank on Vita or on PS2, it really just struggles. Even when if it's running slow, even it looks like it's smooth. And on here, for the most part, it runs just fine. Like you don't see as much struggle. Now it will every once in a while do a little hiccup, but for the most part, it's pretty good. So there you saw it kind of had a hard time keeping up with it as I was flying through the air. But for the most part, I mean, this thing is solid. Like I said, you can get about an hour into it before you really start to have some issues. But even like when you hit boxes normally, in the other ones, everything's in slow-mo. And here it's actually picking up pretty well. Now, part of that's just the way it emulates, but this has been working out really well for me. I've been pretty happy with it. I mean, it's still got a ways to go, but I just burned my butt. Sweet. But this will just give you a small idea. This is a new emulator. Again, it's only been out for a little bit, and they just changed the project over. They moved the name and the website and everything over to download it. So we'll come back to this here when it's got a little bit more development on it, but I just wanted to show you that it is possible to play some games on here. I have had an issue with loading things like God of War, but I can get Battlefield to load. You can't see very well. The textures aren't very good, and because it's such a dark game on Battlefield 2 Bad Company, it's so dark that you can see people's faces every once in a while when like the light hits them from the moon or whatever at the beginning of the game, but you really can't see where you're going, so that's going to take some time. But with this too, you can add patches and change your Adreno drivers, which is what I did to get this to work as good as it does. It's already seen improvement between updates just because of the Adreno driver updates. But we'll go to some Wii U here real quick, and I'll show you something on Wii U just so you can get a good feel for how that's going to turn out. It says that we're running at 13 FPS, but I don't think that's right. Yeah, so for one, we're running at 120 hertz, but it does drop. Yeah, the FPS is it's having a hard time even figuring out what it is. But there you go. That's what PS3 emulation is looking at like right now on the Odin2 Portal. And again, it's going to get some really good improvement over time. Now we're doing some Wii U emulation with Simu, and I wish I could show you what I'm seeing right now, but I just don't want to get the ninjas after me. But this runs so well, and this is the HD version of this particular game. I'm sure you can figure out what it is. Like it looks so good. And you do have these options in Simu as well in order to change and kind of tweak things the way that you want them. So I've definitely made some changes here just to make it look even better than it did right away. You can do texture packs, you can change the drivers, all that kind of stuff here. And then we'll go to a game now that I can actually show you. So many Wii U games here in Simu and so little I can show you. Like most of the stuff works pretty well. Why not? We'll do Super Meat Boy. While this loads up, I'll just show you a couple things. So we are actually just running a normal performance mode. Have the fan on smart. I don't know why you'd have a 120 hertz display and run it at 60. Just keep it at 120. There's no reason to go back to 60. I can't think of any. If you have a reason, let me know down below, other than maybe battery life. I can't come up with a reason. So yeah, so this is, obviously this is a very simple game. Doesn't take probably a lot of processing power in comparison to some others, but it is a good way to kind of test this just to see if things are going to work. And this thing it works. Oh, whoops, didn't mean to do that. It works phenomenally though. Wow, I think I just kind of forgot how to play this game all of a sudden. There we go. A+. So now here's Star Fox, and this game, oh, I just exited. The game actually expects you to play with the gyros, so you can play gyro. I don't know like, if you see my controller videos, I am terrible with playing with gyro controls, but it wants you to play gyros, and it works just fine on here. I just exited myself out. Now, when I went into there, I actually did put it on high performance up in here, just because, just because it does take a little bit more juice to do that. Now, what's cool about this is, let's see, I don't think I've tried Batman yet. When you go into a game, you have the option if you want to change it to showing it on the pad, or on the TV, or swap them so you can see both at the same time, or you can swap them maybe if I didn't just freeze it up. There it goes. Or okay, so you could swap which one is which. Yeah, I didn't think that Batman worked. There we go. Maybe it does. We're gonna find out. But if you do need to enable motion, what I was trying to show you before is it's right there as well. It doesn't like it when I'm trying to change this while it's trying to do its load up screen, apparently. So when you sign into games, it's just like when you're actually signing into a Wii. It asks you if you want to be on your gamepad, if you want to be on the controller, if you want to be on the TV, however you want to be set up. So we're going to go into here, and I'll get those options on how I want to control. So now we're going to play this game about a dinosaur and a ball of yarn. I don't really remember how to play this game, but we'll figure it out. And we're literally staying at 60 FPS. We're not really using a ton of memory. Now, this is the Pro version of the Odin2 Portal, so this is the 12 gigabyte version. I'd recommend getting at least that if you want to do any of this kind of gaming. If you look the secret console, a recommended minimum of 8 gigs, so you're not leaving yourself a whole lot of headroom if you just get the regular basic Odin2 Portal, because the basic one comes with 8 gigs. Why is that ball so big? Not bad for a guy that doesn't know what he's doing. This should give you a little idea what Wii U looks like anyways. Not too bad. I think it looks pretty darn nice. Not every game plays yet, but this is new in emulation too, so we got a ways to go, and this is just the start. I can't wait to see how it continues to progress. Now we're gonna get into something that takes a little bit more energy, a little bit more power. We're gonna max this thing out pretty well. We're gonna try doing some Steam and some PC emulation on here. First, I'm gonna do a PC game outside of Steam. I loaded a game on here. We're just gonna sign into it. We're gonna use Winlator to get it rolling, and I'll show you what that looks like. And actually, we're gonna use Winlator through GitHub, I think. See what that looks like without having to use Steam in order to do it, and then we'll look at what Steam looks like on here. I just realized I never actually mentioned that how good these speakers sound, and they are right here on the front. So when I was going through the I/O, I forgot to talk about these stereo speakers here. They do sound very good. Now, we are actually in GameHub. I installed a game directly to it without using Steam or anything else like that, but just like you would if you were in Winlator. And we're gonna go through Winlator at another date, but more or less, GameHub is just an overlay to Winlator to make it all work right. And I'm gonna show you what it looks like to play a game on here. We're gonna open up some Deadpool, and again, this is a PC game, and I installed the exe file. Now, the kind of crappy thing about this is it does use your internal memory to do something like this, the way that I did it, but you can run it off your memory card as well. There are some workarounds, but I think it runs right now best off of the internal memory directly. You don't have to have any of that buffer time or anything like that between the card and everything else. We'll take a look at this here real quick. Now, what we got here is I just have a file that I already had installed on my computer. I actually just dragged the entire folder over on here. This is one way you can do it without actually installing the exe, and you run it directly off the bin file, and it looks phenomenal. And in case you're wondering, this game is delisted, so you can't actually buy this game anywhere anymore, but it is a great game if you can get a hold of Deadpool. But anyways, this game looks really good on here, and what I'm going to do here is we're going to test it up against the Legion Go. Legion Go, though, it doesn't have an OLED display. It does have a very nice display on it. It's a lot bigger, and theoretically it should run better on Windows, and we're seeing it run really cleanly here as well. Does one run better than the other? To be honest, they're both about the same, though you will see some more hiccups on the Odin2 Portal than you will on the Legion Go, as the Legion Go is obviously made for PC gaming. We're not seeing a whole lot of jarring on either end of it. I was going to show you what it looked like on the Steam Deck OLED too as a comparison. I just realized I don't have it on my Steam Deck, so we're going to move on from here. All these are games that I have installed on GameHub right now as the exe files, just so I could test stuff out, trying to figure out exactly where that point is, or of no return, where I can't get any further. So far, it's been doing pretty well. And then here I have Steam, and I'm actually running the Steam client directly through GameHub, which is, again, like kind of an overlay of Winlator, in my understanding. I haven't dug that deep into it, but it does work pretty well. It's something that GameSir offers, from my understanding, according to their GitHub anyways. But this is going to launch us right in here, so it's like a normal Windows desktop, and we're going to go into big picture mode. Now, I'm going to be running off an older version of Steam, and as stated before, I'm going to go through how to do this in a future video and show you what version of Steam and all that kind of stuff that you need, as long as I can find it again. And we'll go through all that in order to get you set up. So if you want to run Steam off something like the Odin, you might be able to do it on the RP5, though I don't know that you'll be able to play as intensive games on there, but you will be able to play some of these. Like I'm gonna show you Broforce, because I have that installed on here right now, just so you can see how this all works. Now, you do need to give it a few seconds for it to load up your controllers. They won't typically work right away, because it is kind of loading everything up in the background here. It is one of the unfortunate things about running this off of an Android handheld versus running it off a Windows PC PC or a Linux PC handheld, you just don't have that brute force of the x86 devices. So now that we have controls, you can see we can move around and we can select games and things. And so we'll go right in here and we will open up a game. So we're going to open up Broforce. One thing too that I found is it does make it a little easier if you turn off Steam input. We'll see every game's a little different when you do it this way. I believe that that'll work better on Broforce here. I feel like we might run into an issue here because it looks like there was an update to the X input controllers, which would be your Xbox controller scheme. And that's what this recognizes as when you go to play in here with Steam. And I'm wondering if the controls are going to work at all. This is kind of part of doing stuff like this, is you will run into hiccups every once in a while. And maybe this one's going to run just fine, but I'm not real confident right now, noticing that there was an update done that we didn't do here, but we're going to find out if this wants to work. The first thing, let me skip. Yeah, we don't have control. Okay, let's try to do on-screen input mapping and just see if, yeah, there's nothing. Well, that's too bad. So I guess I can't show you this today, but I will show you another way that you can actually run Steam on these as well. And we'll just exit out of here real quick. And so instead of going here through GameHub like I'm doing right now, another way you can play your Steam games and install them and play them through here would be over here on Pluvia. I've showed Pluvia before on the Odin2 Mini. It's going to work exactly the same on here. I don't know if I have anything installed on this one yet. No, I do. Look at that. We got Broforce on here too. Let's see if these controls are going to work without the Xbox control. And this is going to go right into my Steam library once again. What I do in testing is I kind of installed the same games across multiple platforms, different ways, kind of with the same file, because I'm using the PC version of them and the Steam version of them, but I'm installing natively right into Winlater. The same game I'll install into GameHub, and then again here into Pluvia. Installing the same games in different places just really gives us a good opportunity to kind of test out and see what works best in which ways. So here we go with Broforce. And again, we're playing through Steam, and it's installed through Steam. It's using Pluvia, and here we are able to actually use our controller. So this must have got the update. I need to go and figure out the driver update, and I'm going to have to install that manually, obviously, because in order to do it through GameHub, you have to use the earlier version of Steam. So it just doesn't have current support on it anymore, which Steam changes their support all the time. But as you can see, this works just fine. Come on, Blade. If you've never played Broforce before, I don't know. It's kind of dumb, so it's a lot of fun. The only thing I don't like about this is that if you can see up here, you can't really see where my mouse is, but you can actually see the outline around here. For some reason, I can't get it to fit perfectly on here because it is still kind of overlaying on Winlater. You do still have a Windows desktop behind all of this. So here we're going to get some options, obviously, of some games to play. I just threw a few games on here. Some games that I know that'll work pretty well. All right, we're going to try out Ninja Gaiden 3 here. I am running this at 120 hertz, but just on regular performance mode. I usually have it on high performance. There is a bit of a difference, not a ton of a difference when you use that mode, but on regular performance mode, we're going to use less battery. But on a higher performance mode, we'd be able to get more fidelity. So it's kind of a toss-up, I guess. We are running in docked mode right now, and here we go. All right, it's been a minute since I played this. I don't really remember the controls on it, but even in just regular performance mode, this thing does pretty well. What are my swingy buttons? There we go. No, it's because I got to aim. See, it's been a while. Gotta love that auto aim. Just to give you an idea, at least, that you can get some of that secret console in on here. Like I said, I'm not trying to get too in-depth today. I just wanted to show some of the things that are possible with the Odin2 Portal. As somebody who owns all of the current Odin 2s, really make a big difference. So that gives you a quick look at the Odin2 Portal and what it can do. I absolutely love this handheld. I have all the Odins. I'd say that the Mini was the most played one that I had before because it fits in my pocket. I don't care about this fits in my pocket or not. I wear sweatpants every day. I can fit this in my pocket if I want to, but I also have an EDC bag, so this fits right in there. It goes everywhere with me. It is so much fun to play. It made it really hard to make a video for this, which is why I'm forcing myself to keep it shorter. We're not going to get into game streaming today. We will show that in another video, but as far as today goes, I just wanted to give you the basic building block from what you have to work with here. There are really only a couple of things I don't like about the Odin2 Portal. One of them being is I'm constantly cleaning the stupid thing because the whole front's made out of glass. So of course, you know, you're going to leave fingerprints all over this damn thing. And it drives me absolutely insane. So I literally have like a cloth that I keep in my pocket now when I'm playing this just to keep it clean, which I think is a little ridiculous, but I'm a little OCD, so the stuff kind of drives me nuts. So what do you do at that point? Really nothing you can do. But if I keep telling you other things that I don't like about this, I'm really just nitpicking at this point, coming up with things to not like about it, so I don't sound like a shill, but nobody provided this to me. Any of my Odin devices, really. So definitely not shilling here. I really do like this device. Now that we got that out of the way, if you want to get yourself an Odin device, hit that link down on my thingamabob down below. It'll help support the channel so I can continue making this content going forward. Now, there are some other devices out there that will perform close to this, similarly, I guess you could say, and some would argue that you don't want to be emulating the secret console or Wii U or PS3, like it's just in its infancy, but it's really fun fun to be able to try to do it. And some of the games I found that you can actually play, which I've tried on the other handhelds, and they don't play them, the same games. So there is an advantage to getting this, but there is also a cost differential. So you have to decide if you want to be a guinea pig and a tester for some of the new emulators that are out there, or if you're happy with what you've had for the last couple of years as far as emulation goes, and you're just going to stay there until emulation grows beyond where it's at right now, where people like me will go through and continue to test. That's really just a personal preference. If you don't like to struggle through games, even though you know you might struggle through it, then, you know, that's not going to matter to you. Save yourself some money. A lot of options out there. Speaking of that, I will have my RP Flip 2 video up pretty soon once I get done with that review. And any questions you have for me on the Odin2 Portal or anything you'd like me to test in the next video, leave it in the comment section down below. I will be continuing to make these videos. I'm going to space them out a little bit, but it's going to be kind of a series of videos going through how to set up and play each of these different systems so that you can do it yourself if you don't know how to do it, or maybe it's something you just want to experiment with in your free time. But that's all I got for today. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share this video with your friends because sharing is caring. It also helps grow the channel. And once you do all that, take a look at one of these videos up here on the screen. YouTube chose them for you. So you know you're going to like it because YouTube knows you better than anybody. But that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.